When we talk about the human right, I would say that any right which is given to us, irrespective of caste, religion, sex, the gap is on the enforcement. Problem is that the ground level. The problem is not on the upper level.
One of the most debated things going on in our country is bulldozer action. I want to talk about this, that how are these demolitions, are they legally defensible or not?
So the process, which process they are adopting, the agencies, the process which they are adopting to bulldoze any houses or any construction, that process is very much questionable.
Across the globe, human rights are under strain. If we talk about war-like zones like we saw in Gaza or in Sudan, and in fact closer to home in India, we are dealing with our own rights debates around bulldozer action, citizenship laws, privacy and freedom of speech. And all these questions, they are tough, they are complex and unavoidable. So to break down the fundamentals, we have with us Supreme Court Advocate Rudra Vikram Singh. So welcome to India TV.
Thank you so much for calling me.
And sir, to begin with, we need to talk about the fundamentals. As I said, I want to ask you, what is the biggest thing you feel that India is getting fundamentally wrong when we talk about human rights?
See, when we talk about the fundamental rights, first we'll have to discuss about the importance of these fundamental rights. And the parliamentarian, the Constitution Assembly, when they set to discuss the parliamentary things, the constitution things, they put this fundamental rights in part 3. Part 3, which discuss from Article 12 to Article 35 about the fundamental rights to a human being. So this was very important, discussed in Constitutional Assembly. And why they have kept in the part 3, because they have saw is that important, and all the judgment of Supreme Court, if you'll see, mostly judgment are covered in Article 19 or Article 21. So how important this fundamental rights or the human rights, you can judge this how honorable courts given the importance, how the Constitutional Assembly has given the importance. And mostly judgment, I would say that these are related to the Article 21. Article 21, which talks about the right to life, right, not only right to life, but right to life with dignity, right to life with liberty. So, and when we talk about the human right, I would say that any right which is given to us, irrespective of caste, religion, sex, anything, that should be irrespective of anything, and that right which we have, that right which everyone should possess, that is human rights.
So sir, we have strong laws, as you said, but on ground the reality seems different. Where is the gap? I want to understand that.
See, when we talk about the acts, laws, the constitution, I would say anybody who studied constitution or the acts in India, he would definitely say that this is the supreme constitution, I would say, in the world. Many acts which protects the human rights, many acts which protects every right of the citizen of India, but the gap is on the enforcement side, because who is enforcing this, that is very important. Who is the enforcement agencies? The enforcement agencies should act like to protecting these rights, but they are, most of the time we have seen that they are violating these human rights. Many videos you have seen in social media, many things many people have come across it, that they are misbehaving with the common people, the police agency, the enforcement agencies, which we call enforcement agencies. They are misbehaving with the human being. They are not talking in a proper way, the way they should talk to a common people. So until and unless the enforcement agencies will not be in proper place, will not be properly educated, will not be properly trained, the enforcement of these acts, the enforcement of these constitutional rights cannot have to be done, cannot said to be done. So to enforce all these constitutional rights, all these rights, I am practicing before Supreme Court. Many advocates who would practicing in Supreme Court for last 30 years, 40 years, they cannot even say that I know every law, I know every act. So why am I saying? Because there are so many acts to protect human rights, to protect us from any criminal things, to protect any wrongdoing. But many acts we don't know, many acts we know, but we don't know how to enforce this. And not even us, the enforcing agencies doesn't know how to enforce these laws. So we'll have to actively work on the enforcement of these laws.
So they need to, be active on the enforcement upon the law. They need to know and how to act
How
upon
to
the
act and how to enforce in a proper manner.
Yeah.
They enforce it, sometimes they enforce it, but not in proper manner. So until unless they will not learn to enforce these laws in a proper manner, in a humanitarian manner, I would say, until and unless they will not use it as a humanitarian manner, the human rights conservation cannot be said to be done.
You said about education. Now all these officers and all, they do come up with, they do give exams. They are educated for that level, I believe. I think that training is something that is important. They need to be trained from all aspects. Do you also agree with that?
Yes, training is a second aspect, and education is also why I am saying education is a major aspect, because there are officers who are equally who are well qualified. The IPS, you are talking, if you are talking about the IPS officers, if you are talking about the district magistrate, SDMs, but do we have the access to them? Does a common people has the access to any superintendent of police, any DM, any district magistrate? Many videos you have seen, district magistrate sitting here, and to whom he has been sent to hear them, they are sitting up at least 20 meters far from them.
There is a gap.
So this is the gap I am talking about. Only I have the access to the constable, only I have the access to the SI level police officer who is not well qualified. So I am talking about those people who has the primary interaction between with the citizens.
And there
so
needs to be a change.
they has to be properly educated and properly trained.
Yeah.
Because there are almost or I would say 2% or 3% officers who doesn't have the way to talk. Otherwise all officers are very good in communication, they talk very genuinely, they talk on very humanitarian ground. The problem is that the ground level, the problem is not on the upper level. So until unless we will not work on the ground level, it cannot be done.
But so in these matter, I guess institutions also, they play a crucial role, especially watchdogs. And in India, we have the NHRC. Do you think that these organizations, specifically the NHRC, does it act independently or is it acting under pressure?
See, NHRC is not only the watchdog. NHRC itself is an enforcing agency. NHRC has the power to enforce the laws, the act which is violating against human rights. NHRC has quasi-judicial power. He can summon anybody. He can, if there is any complaint against me, if there is a complaint against you, they can summon you, and I'll have to appear before NHRC. Because they have that civil court right. So NHRC having the regulatory body as well as the quasi-judicial power also. So NHRC, not even watchdog, NHRC has many power to enforce the human rights, and they can ask for any document, they can summon, they can ask police agencies to take action against anybody. So, but when you say that these agencies are independent or not, I would say the agencies are very much independent, but the person who are there in NHRC are independent or not. That we'll have to see, that the person.
How do we fix that, sir?
To fixing that, you will have to understand your accountability. Nobody can fix it. You bring any system, any law, that cannot fix.
You believe political intervention is going to be there?
Yes, personal intervention, personal accountability has to be there. If I am sitting here, if I am talking anything, if I am talking about human rights, I should be knowing that yes, I have the command on human rights or not. If I don't have any command, I should say sorry, I cannot do this interview. So personal accountability is very important. If you are asking any question, you should have the preparation. If I am answering any question, I should have prepared about it. So, and if I am sitting on a position where I can judge something, where I can enforce some rule or right, I should do as per my chair where I am sitting, as per not the who has appointed me.
Right. And also one of the most debated things going on in our country is bulldozer action that people are, witnessing. How, I want to talk about this, that how are these demolitions, are they legally defensible or not?
See, the bulldozer action is, you cannot say it's totally illegal, but how they are doing, how the bulldozer action is being performed, how it's being done is, you can say illegal.
Yeah.
Because many cases I have seen, you might have seen, everybody is seeing these cases. Any case is lost against any criminal or any accused person, on the second day the bulldozer action is being done. So the process, which process they are adopting, the agencies, the process which they are adopting to bulldoze any houses or any construction, that process is very much questionable, because there is a process, a bulldozer. Let's say I have built any illegal property, that authority, that enforcing authority, that municipal corporation or any local authority has the right to bulldoze my house or any illegal construction. But there is a way, there is a process. You will have to send me a notice that, see, Mr. X and Y, your this building is illegal construction. If you have any proper explanation, please explain it to me in 7 to 15 days. There is a time fixed also, that within 7 to 15 days, at least 7 days time you have to give to that person. So within 7 days I will give a reply, I will give explanation that yes, this is my building, this is document, I have that document, I got
But that process is not followed.
That process has not been followed. So that the question is that process, because I have the time, at least I have 15 days time, I can go to the court, I can appeal for that action which is yet to be taken. But if you have taken the action, if you have bulldozed my house, then what action, what do I have, and what you will do with my family members? Let's say I am a criminal, you have bulldozed my house, but what is the harm with that, my family members, what criminal activity they have done? So that should be understood. Because of that, there is a provision that there has to be a proper notice, there has to be a proper channel, and after that you can only bulldoze any house, or otherwise you cannot. So
Yes.
this is the process gap.
There is a gap in the process. And now similarly, there are issues regarding citizenship laws. Now they have become like a rights battleground, especially the NRC, CA. How do they, intersect with fundamental rights?
See, when these are the misconception, when the people say that CA and RC is taking away the rights of citizenship, right? I don't think so.
Even SIR, people believe that SIR is also doing the same.
These all are the processes, and these are the processes giving the rights, to confirm the rights. Like SIR, if SIR happen, I given my document, whatever document they are asking, and they have issued some unwarranted documents in Bihar. Honorable Supreme Court has intervened and said that no, you will have to include Aadhaar card as a document proof. So they have included it. Now everybody has Aadhaar card. If I have Aadhaar card and I am giving that Aadhaar card, and under this SIR process my voter rights has been confirmed, then that means I am a confirmed right. So that rights is to give the right, that process is giving the rights, that is not the process is to take away anybody's right. So these are the misconception. Although I would just add one more point, that these processes has to be in a systematic manner, in proper manner. Again I would say that this has to be in systematic manner. Likewise, the SIR process is being done in Uttar Pradesh, I would say, or any state, in a hurry manner. That should not be done, because if you do any process in such a hurry manner, again you will lose something. We are losing lives, and again you will lose few processes, again you will indulge some fringe element in that process, so that the motto of that process will not be fulfilled.
Right, sir. Now moving on, recently courts have delivered many landmark rulings. I want to ask you about which Supreme Court judgments you feel that they have strengthened or weakened the human rights.
I would say all the judgments have strengthened the human rights. I would start the Menka Gandhi judgment, the very much articulated judgment by Honorable Supreme Court. The Menka Gandhi, when her passport got seized, he approached to the Honorable Court and said that my passport cannot be seized in this arbitrary manner. So court has said that yes, if you enforce any law, there has to be a proper reason, there has to be a reasonable reason. You cannot say that yes, if you are accused in any matter, I will seize your passport. There has to be a process. Again, what we are discussing in the bulldozer action. Again, here is if you are forfeiting anybody's passport or any documents or anything, there has to be a process. So Supreme Court has established in the Menka Gandhi judgment that there has to be a fair and just process, reasonable process for any enforcement of the law. Then I will come the DK Basu judgment, DK Basu versus State of Bengal. In that judgment, Honorable Supreme Court has held that if you are going to arrest anybody, then there has to be a process has to be followed. If you are arresting anybody, there has to be two independent witness, there has to be a arrest memo, there is search memo, and you will have to inform to any relative or any family member that we are arresting this person because of this reason. So that was formulated in DK Basu judgment, that and the police officer who is going to arrest, he should furnish all his details, all his credential, as who is he, why he is arresting. So all these details has been furnished. So article 21, when we talk about the DK Basu judgment, honorable court has said that. There are few other judgment like JK Puttoswamy
Yeah, I was
judgment
about to come on that.
and
How
Olga
has that
Tellis.
impacted the human rights?
See, JK Puttoswamy judgment talks about the right to privacy as a fundamental right. Before this judgment, there was two judgment, Kharak Singh and MP Sharma judgment, which was 6 judges bench judgment, 8 judges bench judgment, which says that the right to privacy is not covered under the fundamental rights. But in 2017, when this Justice JK Puttoswamy judgment came, then Honorable Supreme Court has affirmed that no, right to privacy is a fundamental right, and I believe and everybody would believe that right to privacy should be covered under fundamental right, because is everybody's privacy is personal thing, and that should be covered under fundamental
But
rights.
what's our digital privacy? Right
See,
now it is the digital era, and people, especially the Gen Z, talks about digital privacy.
See, when you are in a digital platform, you just forget about your privacy. This is on very convictionally I am saying that when we are in any digital platform, just forget about digital privacy. There is no digital privacy. If you are keeping your phone with you, your phone is hearing everything. You just say anything, you just say you talk with your friend keeping your phone on the table, he'll listen everything. And let's say if you talk about anything, any makeup thing or thing that I want to purchase things, on the second day, third day, you will get advertisement of that. So this is how the digital thing work, and if you have put any information on the digital platform, it is available to everyone. And this is also, again, it's a very concerning thing that whatever digital platform we have, like X, earlier it was Twitter, Facebook, Meta, which we call
Instagram.
WhatsApp, all they have their server in US. Not even one company has the server in India. So everything what we are putting information,
All the data is going there.
All the data is with US, and US can do whatever they want to do with our data. So there is a misconception. I would say the digital privacy is a misconception.
Okay, sir, if you say so. But moving back to the laws, security laws, national security at this point of time is very important, and then civil liberties, they often collide. If we talk about UAPA, sedition and detention laws, do they need reform today, in today's time, or are they fine?
See, the process may have to be redefined. The processes can be redefined, but the acts has to be there. If you want to have the peace in our country, if you want to protect our country from this infringement element, these laws has to be there. Because in an emergency, in an urgency, when the enforcement agency has to act upon, they need such kind of power so that they can protect our country. They can protect from any such things, any war situation in a country. But yes, I would say when these laws or when these acts are being used as a political rivalry, then it can be said that no, this is again against the humanitarian ground, and this is again the civil rights. But these laws has to be there, but the process and implementation of these laws has to be do very carefully. If you not implement this in a careful manner, then we have seen many cases, in many cases wherein there was a POTA, UAPA has been violated and has been used as a political rivalry.
So again, moving to digital, as I said, internet is one common thing, or I would say, we need internet, but governments frequently, restrict internet activity network in some areas, specifically, when we see platforms being misused. Now there are some protests or uprising, and in that condition as well, people say that our human rights, our basic human rights have been violated. What about that? What in What is correct in that situation?
See, uses of internet is a fundamental right. You can say it is a fundamental right, it is a human rights. But in case of any situation of war, in case of any riots, this has to be break down, this has to be stopped by the government agencies, and it has to be there. Not you are talking about 2 days. I am talking about after 50 years also. If such situation will arise, government has to stop this internet connectivity, because in this era the communication, the age of communication, where we can send any message sitting here to any point of any corner of the world. So that has to be stopped if there is a situation of, like as you said, that there is a situation of rioting, there is a situation of war. So in very limited cases government has implemented it, and any government, I would not say this government, any government which will be there, that will enforce this ban of internet. Because you see, when we receive anything in WhatsApp or anything, we have the tendency to forward it.
Yeah.
So if you start forwarding this misinformation or anything which
The
is
whole
negative,
campaign was also run for the same,
Yes,
not
yes.
to forward the misinformation
yes.
on WhatsApp specifically.
And I would add one thing here, like when you forward anything to anybody, you should be very conscious.
Yeah, we
You
should check the source
You
and
should
all.
first check the source, because when you are sending this message to, let's say I'm sending any message to you, you would think that no, if any advocate has sent it to me, then it should be at least legally it should be correct. So that is my responsibility, that I should send a correct message to you.
Yeah.
Because the sender is very important. Which if I am sending, you would say that no, if an advocate has sent it to me, legally it should be correct. If any other person, if any CA is sending information related to accounting, you would say that no, he is sending some right information.
But sir, like in this case, if you forward such information, like people generally, they do not check the source, they pass on the information. Are there chances of being apprehended on that basis as well? If they forward such misinformation without checking, and it has been a part of, uprising or unrest in some areas.
Sometimes it happens, but when the agencies work on it, they check the initial source.
Okay.
So let's say if you have received any message and you have forwarded it
Yeah.
to anybody else, so the source is not you, source
Yeah.
is where you have received that message. But let's say you have received any photo or any message, you have saved it in your mobile, and now you are sending it to anyone, then you are initial sender here.
Okay.
So that should also keep in mind, like whenever you are sending, just send it. If you are sending and if you are not sure about that information, just send it as it is.
In fact, don't send if you do not know about the
yes,
source.
do not send. But if you are sending, that will be considered you are the
going to be
initial sender of it. So
responsible.
you can be held responsible for that.
Okay. Now moving on to the global level, sir. Internationally, if we see India in the human rights, scale, what do you think? Is India judged fairly or selectively? What is the context? I mean, when I see human rights watch reports and all, I feel there's a different angle, there's a different narrative that has been given. What is your thought?
See, it is not correct to say that if you talk about the human rights in India, it is totally overrated or it is not protected. I would say there is a chance of progress. There has to be a streamlined process to protect the human rights. But yes, we are doing good. We have done. We have formed National Human Rights Commission, State Commission, even in all the states, and it will take some time. I think it will take time. If you talk about globally, I think that Human Declaration Rights, NDRC, was formed in 1945 and 1948.
Yeah.
But you see the wars everywhere. So even the UN, the United Nations, who has the responsibility to protect all these human rights and all, they have formulated everything in 1945, 1948. But are they implementing
I wanted
it
to
right
come
way?
on that. Do these, global bodies, international bodies, like they have the ICC, UNHRC, do they actually have the power to, hold the states accountable or not? Or they're just like making rules and let's see?
Yeah, they have. That is what I'm saying, that UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, when they formulated in 1948 and 1948 and 1945, and continuously they are watching it, continuously they are making the rules and everything. They have the I can say they have the limited powers, but they can use it. But there has to be a willpower to use it. Let's say if that war situation would have been in India or any other country who is not so superpower, then they might have acted upon it. But now they are not doing anything. They are not saying even a single word. So that is concerning. That should be. That is what I'm saying. Even the United Nations, who have formed it earlier before India formulated it, they
Yeah.
are not able to enforce it.
Even after the World War II, it was formed.
Yes, yes.
But still, we have seen so many wars.
So many wars.
The
So-
war happened in Gaza.
So you
Ukraine
cannot
is
say
going
that
on.
India is not enforcing. India is in the process to enforce all these rights. Yes, there are things to be done, and I think that has to be done, and that will be done.
So similarly about the Geneva Convention, why is there such a big gap between the international humanitarian laws on paper and in practice? Why do you think?
See, because there is no enforcing agency. In the enforcing agency, UN has no such power to enforce it.
So that is the biggest
That is
failure
the
as
that
well.
is the biggest failure. That is the biggest failure, and the willpower as well. I would say the willpower as well. And whatever the convention is, the all the nation collectively formulated.
Yeah.
So all the nation says that we will follow it. Nobody,
Implementation.
no can say that. Nobody can say that no, this has to be followed. United Nations cannot say that no, you will have to follow it. You will not follow it. You will not implement it. Will ban you or whatever. So the implementation gap is there. They can formulate the things. They can ask you. They can give you the formulation that to protect human rights, this has to be done. This has to be done. But the implementation is depend on the state to state. So being India or being any country, you will have to implement it.
So that is one big failure.
One big failure, one big gap in this.
Yeah, but sir, I was reading the Human Rights Watch report, and they seem to talk about other rules in India, specifically the Northeast. They talk about AFSPA, that it gives certain immunity to the security forces to abuse human rights. What do you have to say about it?
No, not to abuse. I would not say to abuse human rights. To protect, I think, certain things, because that areas or on the border side. So not on the northeast side. Any state who has the border side like Punjab and Jammu Kashmir, there are some areas which is governed by the military. So in Punjab also there are 50-kilometer area which is governed by the military. No state can be governed. So that has to be done. So that, what I'm saying, that everybody cannot be lapsed on the name of human rights. If you talk about the human rights for a terrorist, you will have to talk about the human rights of those who has been killed. So these laws has been enacted just for the safeguarding of the nation, just for the safeguarding of the peace of the nation.
Also, sir, this report claims to talk about custodial deaths. Right. Despite laws and training, custodial deaths remain high. So what key features you feel that they allow custodial torture to continue?
See, custodial death is a very concerning thing, and Honorable Supreme Court has taken the cognizance of custodial death, and I think it was in 2006 and again in 2016 Honorable Supreme Court has directed every state to have the CCTV in their respective police station, so that this type of thing can be avoided. But unfortunately, no state can say that I have enforced it, I have CCTV camera footage in all our police stations. So that is again the gap of enforcement, because if you are not adhering the direction given by the Supreme Court. So this is the biggest gap, because if you have installed CCTV camera, CCTV footage, if you have the CCTV footage in your all police station, that can never be happen. And if you don't have any CCTV footage, that you can do anything. So to stop this, I think that direction of Supreme Court must be implemented by all states. Let's hope in this Human Rights Day, all the states take place this to implement at least this direction, to implement CCTV in their respective police station.
Yes, sir. Now moving on, one last question. People often have this question in their mind that the poor still struggle the most to get justice. Why is it so, sir?
Because poor, you have the answer in your question, the poor. Because they don't have money to pay.
Who are the marginalized?
Yes, the poor, because they are poor, hence they are marginalized. Because they don't have, they cannot afford the judicial system, they cannot afford.
Why is it so difficult?
because of the
to
system.
hire a lawyer to get into all this process.
Although there are system, you can have the free legal aid, you can have the free legal
Yeah,
counsel,
exactly.
free counsel. There is a provision, and there are advocates by the government who
Yeah.
can provide you free of cost service. But again, the quality comes, the advocates who are enrolled in the that legal aid, are they qualified, are they actually willing to help that person in that case. So that gap has been filled by the government, that they have provided legal aid services in every court, either you have district court, high court or supreme court, everywhere legal aid services are there. And if you cannot afford the lawyers, you can have it free of cost. That is a free of cost service. Your viewers must know this, those who going to the high court and want to
Yeah,
go
this
the
is
high
something
court.
important, because people often feel that it is difficult to afford a
Yes.
lawyer. It is difficult to afford the whole process
Yes.
to get justice.
Yes.
And we need to understand that there are free services as
Yes,
well.
so that is what I'm saying. If you go to high court, district court or supreme court, there is an arrangement of legal services authority. You can approach to those authorities, you can ask free legal aid services. But yes, you will have to be vocal, you will have to be work as a watchdog, like who the advocates who have hired is actually willing to work, is actually working or not. And if you have any issue, you can complain about that advocate. He is not working because he has the authority, because government is paying to you, are not paying, but government is paying to those advocates. So in this part, we can say we have the advocates who can work for you, who can work for you without any cost, without any fee. But again, if you'll I would say that there is a huge gap between the poor people and the richest people. So this has to be also looked by the government authorities, looked by the judges, that the poor people should also have that access which the richest people should have the access of.
Yeah, exactly. There has to be a balance, and there
Yes.
has to be, we need to address all these things, specifically the part that you mentioned, enforcement. That is one major thing. And of course, bridging the gap between the services and the poor and the marginalized people. That is one major important thing. And I guess we covered all parts of the human rights. We discussed a lot about our human basic fundamental rights, national security and all. And thank you, sir, for answering all our questions,
Thank
for
you so
clearing
much for
all our
having me
doubts.
here.
And for viewers, I believe all your questions, all your doubts are cleared. But for more such interviews, for more such informative discussions, stay tuned with India TV.